बहुजन क्रांति और बहुजन नायकों को समर्पित दलित दस्तक का 2024 का शानदार बहुजन कैलेंडर आ चुका है। कैलेंडर छोटे और बड़े दोनों साइजों में उपलब्ध है। बुकिंग के लिए दिए गए नंबर पर व्हाट्सएप करें या ईमेल करें। थोक में ऑर्डर करने पर मिलेगी आकर्षक छूट।
Being held here at Brandeise Hiller School on the topic of law, caste and pursuit of justice. Before I go and discuss with you as to why we have picked up this topic for this conference, I just want to go a little back and share with you an incident that about 7 years before, when my term as the chairman of UGC was over and I was back to JNU, on one particular day a gentleman appeared in my house and I discovered it was Lawrence Simon. We had not communicated and we had not met. Somebody has informed him my name that he should meet me. And the purpose was that I saw in his hand the pamphlet which mentioned that the Hiller School has introduced certain scholarship for Dalit students to come for the graduate and postgraduate diploma in management. And I was surprised and that how come a person from that long distance come and look for Dalit students. I obviously voluntarily agreed to help him to identify the student. There will be many more who will be willing to go to Hiller School, of course. And so that was the beginning. When I was chairman of the UGC, a very reasonably high post, so people came to know that I have a Buddhist background. So they will give me the present of statue of Buddha. I won't accept anything else, but I won't refuse statue of Buddha. So all statues were displaced. Maybe there were 50. And Lawrence has a look at this. He said, "What is this? Are you a Buddhist?" I say, "Yes." And then he stood and he said, "My wife is from Sri Lanka. She is a Buddhist." I say, "You pick up any statue and take on my behalf to her." And he did one. That's how the association with Lawrence Simon began. He invited me for 4 months here, 3 to 4 months I taught, and then we developed this concept of global journal. He created a chair, as a matter of fact, and journal was instituted, and then we decided to carry forward the unfinished legacy of Ambedkar through organizing these conferences. Brandeise made a beginning, and 2 more conferences were organized outside Brandeise, but now Lawrence Simon said that let's have, after 3 to 5 years, the conference here. That's how the relationship with him began. He's an extremely dedicated and aware person. The 6th conference, why it is on law, caste and pursuit of justice. The reason is that the Indian constitutions recognize equity, equal opportunity. It banned untouchability and considered it as offense. It also banned discrimination associated with caste, religion, gender, race. And the directive principle is impose responsibility on the state to develop policies to promote social justice in the country. And yet, if you look at the situation after 70 years, we can see that the caste has eroded substantially, untouchability has eroded substantially, and yet it is present in a modified form, or in a uncomfortable forms where the Dalit or ex-untouchable are not able to enjoy their full citizenship right. And that is why we decided to have this conference on law, caste and pursuit of justice. I don't have a legal background, neither Simon Lawrence has. We got in Anurag Bhaskar and Disha Wadekar. Disha is sitting here. Anurag Bhaskar is here, but he is not able to come. And they have done a wonderful job of identifying theme, identifying person, and of course, Lawrence Simon did a lot of organizational work. And out of the 6 conferences, I have seen the maximum response. I think about 350 papers have come, and Anurag and Disha had, and even Lawrence has a difficult time to make selection, a lot of complaint, many people wanted to come. But I think this time still the people from outside USA are fairly large in number. The caste still persists, and persist in a manner such that I personally would not find in any institution surviving that long in the world. We had slavery in USA. You hardly have a traces of slavery. You may have discrimination here. But caste is an institution which still survive. And Dr. Ambedkar presented in a very nice word that past remain active in the present. Or present is a past, living past. That is the extent of the caste that we see here. If you go back to the history of caste, it is said that it is the Rig Veda, before Christ, about 1,500 years, in Purushutta, caste is mentioned. I don't want to go into that. So you can see the origin of the caste, it goes to about 3,500 years. Untouchability emerged much later. And there are scholars like Jha who argued that untouchability emerged around AD 200. Although the roots of untouchability are seen in, it began somewhere around BC 600, but both Jha and Dr. Ambedkar agreed. Dr. Ambedkar, on the basis of the information from the Chinese travelers, and Jha from the other sources, both broadly agreed that the untouchability has emerged and was available in a very systematic form somewhere around AD 200 to 300, 400. Ambedkar would like to give the date 400 AD, but whichever date we take, 200 or 400, is for more than 1,800 untouchability is still there and it still persists. In 2000, I was one of the co-author of the book called Untouchability in Rural India, 20 years before. Caste changed very slowly, so 20 years before we have seen in that book that the practice of untouchability was fairly widespread. So this is that despite law, despite legal safeguard, you see that the caste and untouchability still exist. Indian Constitution, of course, as I said, had made a provision. It has overturned the Manusmriti altogether. And as a follow-up action, we have we have enacted certain laws. Immediately after the 1950, in 1955, we had an act called Untouchability Offence Act, which was renamed as the Protection of Civil Rights Act in 1979. And then it was followed by another act in 1989, that was Prevention of Atrocity Act. We have an act against bonded labor, we have an act against manual scavenging. So as far as the legal aspect is concerned, we have enough safeguard. And yet you will find that there are limitations of law in removing the caste system and caste discrimination. Therefore, the question arises as to why caste persists, in what form it persists, where it gets eroded, where it doesn't, where it is sticky. These are very, very important questions that this conference is going to address. There are causes why caste persists. Dr. Ambedkar has obviously applied his mind, and I don't want to go into greater detail. I just want to tell you what this conference is all about. But he clearly mentioned that you require legal restriction against the caste, and therefore law. But law by itself cannot bring a social change. Very emphatically, he said that what is required is the social conscience, supportive of law, then you can get success. But if there is a contradiction between what law require and what people believe through their religion or social norm and custom, then the discrimination will continue. And that is what precisely happened. Dr. Ambedkar, while talking about comparing with slavery and other thing, he mentioned that one of the important reasons why caste persists is that it is a religious institution. It is a matter of faith. People believe it as a religion, and it's difficult to argue with the people as far as the faith is concerned. You can argue with the people when there is a reason and rationalism, but when the issue of faith and belief comes, it's very difficult. So, caste being a religious institution, untouchability being a religious institution, it's difficult to remove as fast as the other institutions have happened. So therefore, I think this conference will certainly discuss the continuation and persistence of caste in India. But also Dr. Ambedkar, very curiously, when he was a student at Columbia University, 24-year-old, 22-year-old, and at the end of his third year, he wrote a paper, Caste in India, as a part of the requirement for the course that he did in anthropology. And look at the foresight of a person. He mentioned in that paper, he quote Ketkar as a matter of fact, it is a local problem. Caste is a local problem, but capable of much wider mischief. For as long as caste in India does exist, Hindu will hardly intermarry or have any social intercourse with the outsider. And if Hindu migrate to other region on the earth, Indian caste would become a world problem. A young scholar, a young student, as back as 1916, predict what is happening today in USA or UK or Malaysia or some of the countries in South Asia. So wherever Hindus have migrated, they have not forgone their caste, and the problem is carried forward into the country they migrate. And Lawrence Simon has rightly pointed out and shared with us what is happening in USA, that the caste is being considered as a protected category, and I was told that 16 universities have considered it, and it is Brandeise who, under the leadership of Lawrence Simon, his initiative that it was made protected category to begin with, which was then taken more by Brown, California and other universities. So this conference will thus discuss not only the continuation, persistence of past in the present as far as the caste is concerned in India, but it will also discuss the persistence and carry forward of the caste in USA and other countries. And therefore, we will discuss some of the questions. Why does caste discrimination and untouchability still persist in significant magnitude despite law against it? There are a number of papers which are going to address this issue. Why law is as strong as they are have only succeeded in a limited way to overcome discrimination and violence against the Dalit, and they are unable to enjoy equal citizenship right. Do the law against untouchability or caste discrimination suffer from limitation and therefore need reform? Or the caste prejudices of those in legal institutions which are engaged in the delivery of social justice or legal justice is a factor, their social background, causing the cause of high acquittal and low conviction rate? Or is the caste prejudice deeply rooted in living ideology and culture of high caste that result in discrimination? The social conscience is not in supportive of the law. What can be done to make law more effective? And what can be done to make social conscience in support of law so that laws are more effective? These are some of the questions which the paper will discuss in this conference, and I assume that there will be a finding which can be used later on. But the greatest news, I think, news of happiness is that the Chief Justice of India have agreed to give a keynote address on 22nd, and we'll be very keen to listen to him. I remember I had invited him for Ambedkar Memorial Lecture in Indian University of Dalit Study, and we understand his view. And that is a very remarkable feature of this conference. I think these are some of the points that I wanted to share, but I must place before you the effort made by Anurag Bhaskar, Disha Wadekar, and Lawrence Simon, and also the staff. I just forget the name. I have difficulty in remembering the name. That they have worked so hard. Thank you very much.